Save stream, stream lock, premium, and where's my new logo? And audio test again in the rental. Do a little cop watching. It's funny. Earlier today, I was told to produce my identification while doing a U-turn in a military base, which I've never had to do before. Normally, they just have you do the U-turn and you're on your way. But he raised the gate, and then he said, hey, just before you go, if I can just see your ID, then you could be on your way out of here. And I said, you just raised the gate. I'm going to start going forward now. I left my foot on the gas and let the car crawl 3 miles an hour. He said, sir. So I stopped the car, and he said, well, the gate's still up. Should I continue? He said, hey, I just need to see your driver's license. I go, well, what's it going to tell you? Oh, well, we check it, just make sure you're not on a terrorist watch list. And I go, oh, well, I'd like to know that. So I gave him an ID. I know I didn't have to, but I did want to know if I'm on a terrorist watch list. Less than a minute later, gave me the license back, and they were just checking for valid or revoked. Because revoked could mean you're not a U.S. citizen. Horrors. So yeah, and then I go, am I a TWL? And he says, nope, no, you're clear there. I go, all right, thank you. I did the U-turn and I went out. But the reason I said to him at first, and I did skip over that part just now, I did challenge him on, well, am I actually on the base? Am I on the base yet? And he said, yeah, you're on the property. And I go, am I on the base? He didn't answer. He just pointed to he goes, see that blue line? And it's a blue line clearly 10 feet into the easement. It's not on their property, and it's not on base. See, there's government property, and it's like a perimeter, kind of a path. And then there's a fence, and then that fence is the demarcation of on base. So I was not yet past that second fence, knowing that I wasn't on base. That's why they have the U-turn, so you can U-turn out of there and not be on base. And since I was delivering at the time, and they're not allowed to deliver any packages to anyone on base. So anyway, I go the U-turn out, and I come back about 2 hours later, and I videotaped along the safe perimeter on the easement, by the telephone poles between that and the road and the fence, and walked across, and sure enough, as soon as I hit the middle way, I got, sir, and you'll see the video attached later at the end of this. And I'm like, yeah, what? He goes, are you recording? I said, damn right I am. So you're not supposed to be recording the base, sir. And I said, all right. That's fine. Said, sir, you stop recording. And I said, how do you know I haven't stopped recording? I blocked that audio out. And then from across the street, another guy from another gate. Same thing. Sir, you're not allowed to record on the base. And I said, I'm not on the base. You're not allowed to record the base, sir. He changed his wording. So I said, sure I can. I don't think you know the law. You should probably learn it. And the other guy to my right, on the same gate I crossed, entryway that I crossed, he was not coming through that gate. He knew that going any further was off base and off the property, and he was not allowed to do that. So I'm starting to head back to my car, and sure enough, there's a Navy police. Now everyone knows where I was. And then one more car after that. After the guy said, yeah, I just want to talk for a while. I go, oh. He goes, were you videotaping? I go, sure was. And then he started asking me what I was videotaping. I said, whatever I could see from public view. And then keep going, and then it turned into 8 cars, 12 Navy police officers, and the watch commander was threatening to call the city police that have jurisdiction, in the right of way and in the public area and the streets. Right away, I know that city. I knew they were not going to come right away, and if they came at all, because they've handled First Amendment auditors at this base before, at the very same gate, and so I was quite surprised at their reaction. Frankly, they know, but they should know better. And the watch commanders knew. I'd not seen him before, so he's obviously hasn't been trained or retrained. But yeah, it was pretty exciting. So because I was in a parking lot that was on federal property, I played the game of, I'm on federal property. I do need to, surrender my ID. The watch commander was very accurate in saying that when you're on base, you are to surrender your ID, and your vehicle can and most probably might be searched cursorily for any explosives and whatnots, and possibly you'll be turned away or what have you. And he said, and it is a federal crime to videotape from any point, a military base. And I said, sir, you are absolutely 100% incorrect. Said, no, sir, I am correct. And I said, sir, you are not, sir. And then the guy who was above him, I saw him imperceptibly, in my peripheral, I saw him wave the commander off. So I knew that guy was in charge. Hold on a second. This annoys me the hell out of me. All right, I'll take it. See if I can get back on track where I was. Come on, there we go. Excuse me. Oh, good. I don't know if the audio cut out or not. Excuse me, and I'm still coughing, and I'm going to edit that out later. So I could tell that the big tall guy was in charge of even the watch commander, and so far, no city police had shown up, and it had already been 8 minutes into it. And the vehicle I have, I've outfitted it with four cameras and 2 phones. One of the phones has a 360 on it, and then 2 of the cameras are 360, and the other 2 are front-facing, front of the car, and one on me, driving, just for the multi-camera YouTube channel. So those are all going. Those are going streaming live all the time to a private server on Streamlabs all the time. And so I didn't have to worry about being recorded. I checked, I have a tally light rack in the center console above that I double check, and that if they're all red, all 6 are red, I know everything's good, and all the cameras are recording and streaming up. And so I'm continuing this bit, and then there's the one gal, female officer. She was basically the initial contact and asking for my ID, and she wasn't demanding it. But then as I grew more perturbed, I said, well, I really don't need to give you my ID. And said, well, you are on federal property. And I said, yes, publicly accessible. And I started to say public property, and she interrupted me, and she said, yes, publicly accessible, but this is federal property. And I said, you know what, since I am actually on federal property, I know I'm not on base, but I will give you my ID. And then the watch commander said, well, it's a little late for that now. She asked you several times. And I go, that's a refusal of, ID. And I said, well, that's a secondary charge. What's the primary charge? I already told you, federal crime to videotape, blah, blah, blah. And I go, is it really too late to show you my ID? And they're like, no, go ahead. So the watch commander walks away. I never see him again for the rest of the time. I give her my ID. I literally 5 minutes later, finally, she hands me back the license. She said, I'm not banned. I'm not trespassed. You just need to know that you are, when you're on federal property and any officer asks you for your ID, you do have to relinquish it. And I said, I know you're incorrect about that, but hey, for now, I'm going to believe it. And if it turns out to not be accurate, I will be back. And of course, I'll be back to videotape. That's going to happen. But as far as where I park, I'll make sure I'm parking legally and not encroaching on the base, certainly, and not on the property if I'm not supposed to. I will research that. But as far as recording, oh no, I can quote you verbatim what's going on there. If you want to go down that route, I'm ready to go down that route. You will not stop me from recording anything I can see from public. And she agreed she would go look it up, and I said yeah, and anybody above you should look it up too. I got the feeling that nobody here knows that it's legal, and you all should know that it is, and it's protected by case law. So look it up. Other bases have in the United States. You can check out some YouTube channels about that. And I gave her, I turned my camera off and I gave her some YouTube channels and then turned the cameras back on. Only because I'm only going to shamelessly report my own shit. I'm not going to shamelessly promote other channels unless they, straighten up and fly right. No, I'm kidding. Of course, I just muted it because I was using real names on a couple of them so that it would be easier for them to find. And then I backed off because I don't want to dox anybody, even though all of us have been doxxed at one point or another. I just don't want to do it deliberately for any reason on camera. When I know I can prevent it, I'll prevent it. So, a lot of you know what I'm talking about, like DEW. Let that sleeping dog lie. He's cool. I'm not gonna diss him. Furry Potato, not gonna diss her. I know those two have their disagreements, but as far as I could tell, that must have been worked out because I haven't seen any rebuttals or return, to that soap opera over the last 3 months. So, and we probably won't see it. It's probably water under the bridge. Okay, so anyway, that's a little soapy. Yeah, so I'll try to publish that multi-camera video on YouTube. And then this is Streamlabs. This is danlofat.live that you're probably watching it on. If not, hopefully the YouTube channel doesn't knock out the promotion of that. I don't know how YouTube feels about that. Streamlabs just allows me to go and do live from my phone on YouTube without having to have 1,000 subscribers, because Streamlabs has a deal with YouTube to allow that to occur, and that's great. I love it. Okay, I'm a little bit long-winded today, as any other day. So, and I just hate repeating myself. So you won't hear me repeat myself a lot, even live. You'll just have to rewind it, look at it later. I'm in Streamlabs. When I talk, it should be coming out in speech to text, and you should be able to scroll that speech to text while I'm broadcasting live, without pausing the audio or video. You can actually scroll up and see what I've said. At least see what I've said, or hear what I've said if you have a screen reader, while the live action is going. And I believe it either mutes the audio or it ramps it down so that the speech to text can be read back text to speech on a screen reader, which is nice. All while in the background, my live video and audio are going at the same time. And that's kind of, and you can speed scroll it, so it's kind of nice. Anyway, phone's getting real hot, and I'm gonna test it on Ampere. See what happens. Where is Ampere? Yeah, it's just easier just to alphabetically look it up. Let's see. Turn it sideways. Yeah, Forgive me for turning this sideways. I'm pretty sure it's annoying. I'm guessing it's going to be 105 degrees. 110 degrees Fahrenheit internal temperature of the phone. That's insane. That's fucking insane. There's no reason for that at all. Oh my god. 1100 milliamps. Let's see what the battery level is. 90%. That's not bad. And I have the live streaming icon is showing up. Oh, nice. 110 degrees. I'm surprised the battery hasn't exploded by now. That's just idiotic. It really is. Okay, I'm gonna cut off the stream just because the phone's getting that hot. I'm gonna have to start carrying around an old ventilator tube from an old closed hospital and hook it up to my air conditioning vent so that I can keep the phone cool while I whip this out. Let's see. Oh, that's ampere. Let me get back to the. Even though the phone is 110 degrees internal temperature, I am amazed that it doesn't slow down or drag out. So anyway, I'm stopping this video.